All right, so working with Blue out at the park. His obedience is looking good. He's not really even being that reactive out and about. But what I do see that I think is kind of our big priority right now is lack of focus. So I see this sometimes with herding dogs is they're smart enough to be in the heel position or laying down or going to place, but they're very focused on the thing that they're excitable about or nervous about. So I'm actually correcting really more of the lack of focus than anything with him. Right now he's just downing, so he doesn't have to stare at me, but he rarely checks in with me, and so I want to see more of him checking in, because as we start to get kind of in the nitty-gritty of the reactivity, that's going to be a huge thing for him. Of he's uncomfortable, he checks in. He doesn't make bad decisions because he's seeking leadership and guidance, and we're communicating with him what's expected. When a dog is used to practicing reactivity, often they are so used to thinking for themselves and making bad decisions on their own. And so I am actually working him on a long line. So sometimes if he's in the heel and he disengages and he's fixated, because sometimes he can be walking right next to me, but his head position's way out here, not checked in. He's more focused about the dog playing ball, or a kid on a bike, or a man in a hat. And like I said, he's not reacting, but he is already just checking things. Like, I'm just checking, I'm just checking out the environment to see if I need to get crazy about this kind of stuff. So over time, if we leave that focus unchecked, he will actually get more reactive because of that practice behavior of, I guard the house, I guard the window, I'm just going to be here to make decisions, even though they're not good ones. So what I'm doing is bowing out of the heel when he loses interest in me, and just leaving him, and having him kind of feel in discord, because these dogs are so good at being in the heel position and almost guarding us. And so, all right, you're gonna be crazy, go out there, and I'm gonna get harder for you to heel with. So you've got to Velcro to me and get sticky with me. You got to pay more attention to me. You can't be in both worlds. So you can't be focused on the dog and find the heel position at the same time. So he's smart enough, he's gonna try, but I want to make sure that I'm being really consistent with it. So Blue, heel. Good job, dude. So he calls into position really well. Now sometimes I see with him is he has a hard time heeling with the long line right in front of him, but I would know he can find it, that it's not a snake. And sometimes people would just accommodate the dog and make the long line move out of the way. I like to actually have them work through it. Actually, once he comes into the position, the long line will naturally move out of the way because he's not behind it. It will go behind him. But just all of these little things of having him deal with discomfort and then work through it, that helps the nervous system get better and better. So it's really, really good. It's the same with any exercise or getting into an ice bath. Right? The psychology allows you to process uncomfortable things in life if we actually use the brain and practice that way. So he's with me, he's checking in. He doesn't have to look at me, but I'm just going to kind of check in with where his brain is at. I feel like doodles are harder to read when they're adrenalized or not, and so I actually check the tail. So when he's in this follower state of mind, he's in what we call pack drive. So he's taken out of defense drive and he's taken out of prey drive. Now both of those drives, you're going to see a very high and tight tail position, and that's not always bad, right? He's playing with the ball, he's excited, that's prey drive. That's fine. He's taking food, that's prey drive. This is a different state of mind that I want him to be more comfortable in, and he's just not yet, until we get more and more, weeks and weeks and weeks of practicing this kind of behavior. Is the pack drive needs to overcome the defense drive. So we've got some Goldens up ahead, I'm just gonna keep walking with him and just watch. You're gonna get defensive. Keep the frame zoomed out. And he chose to just be in pack drive and follow me. But there's been times where he's like looking back. He's curious. I don't care that he looks. It's just, what is the look signaling? So it's getting harder. He wants to be in both worlds. I'm going to get harder to heel with. He's got to get sticky with me. But more than just, his body, his brain needs to be on board. I did a little tap there for the linger longer behind so he can kind of fixate on what the dude's doing. But I've seen it's just kind of selected outside. I've seen times where he doesn't care about certain people, and then times where he does. And he's not reacting, but I don't want him to get in the habit of, I get to say who comes up to my owners. And that's just putting him in a position where he's making decisions, and that's just encouraging stress more and more and more. So we want this to transfer from the home to outside and the outside to the home. I want the rules to be the same. Good boy. Yeah, that's pack drive. Let's go. Obedience is going to be like the down, where I say down. And this doesn't necessarily mean he's in pack drive, but he's practicing a position. The dogs could be defensive. This gentleman's grabbing his dog. It's not listening. So really, really important to know where his brain is at and read him. If I'm curious if he's getting defensive or not, I can just always call him into a heel. Blue, heel. And just make him follow me. So he can't be in both. He can't be defensive and following where I'm going. Good job, buddy. It's beautiful.